Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So just recently, there was a lot that came to the news, to the media concerning KeKe Palmer and the alleged assault that she's going through with her ex-boyfriend. I'm assuming he is now, Darius. And the only reason why I say alleged is because that's what we have to do here on YouTube. Now, it was unfortunate that she had to take screenshots of the video footage that she had from her own home and upload it to the internet for people to not think that she was lying and to have this solid proof that this dude, this monster, this less than a man, was putting his hands on her. Now let's rewind for a little bit because I always like to go back to the beginning and, try to create some kind of like maybe timeline or explanation, how we got to where we got to. And I tried my best to do, some research to get all the facts and to also be very mindful of how I handled this video because this is a very sensitive topic. There are a lot of young women, especially Black women, who were weighing in saying that this really hit close to home for them because they were in a situation similar to this and that they didn't have anybody to really help them. People would talk about them for being abused instead of talking about the abuser, which is why I said that the culture and the community is for the trash because that's what they do in the Black culture, in the Black community. They always have smoke for the abused individuals, but not the abuser. How butt backwards is that? But like I said, let's rewind a bit. So apparently, allegedly, the two of them have been dating for about 2 years. And unfortunately, about 6 months to 7 months into the relationship, allegedly, he was already putting hands on KeKe Palmer, which is just sad. Like I said before, you've got to be less than a man, a monster, raggedy, dusty, to be putting your hands on a woman. Most of these men know that they're bigger than, stronger than, faster than the women they're in a relationship with. And they take advantage of that and they hurt some of these women out here. God don't like ugly, and he gonna get his comeuppance. There were some people who even pieced together in the timeline that kind of came out with all the documents and whatnot that allegedly, he was even putting hands on her when she was pregnant with their child. Like I said, how sick of a human being can you really be to be out here, a whole man? And I say man, but like I said, he's a monster. He's a coward to put his hands on the woman who you thought enough of to sleep with and get pregnant while she's pregnant with your child. Like I said, he's a monster. Now, everybody remembers the infamous "You a Mom Though" post. We're going to go all the way back to that because I made one video about that. I considered making more, but I wanted to leave it at where I left it at. I've said multiple times before, I do not support a lot of what these celebrities do. I don't promote celebrities on this channel because I'm trying to maintain a righteous and godly standard and promote God and, mental health and all that kind of stuff to people, which is why, like I said, I don't promote celebrities on here because most of them have the opposite of that going on. And I always try to come from a place that's, not involving bias. Now, I will say that I do like KeKe Palmer. She goes all the way back to the Keela and the Bee days. So a lot of people in the culture, they really do like her a lot. Although, like I said, despite me saying that I do like her, there's a lot that she's done and said that I don't agree with. And we should all know why. Like I said, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, we should know why. But two things can be true at the same time. I can say, well, you know what? She's a part of the culture. She's a part of the childhood. She's pretty funny. She's pretty interesting. Although I don't always agree with some of the stuff that she does. Some of her lifestyle, I don't agree with it, point, period, blank. But I should not have to agree with that to be able to say that what happened to her should not have happened to her. Now, did she make some, bad decisions? Did she make some mistakes? Yes, she did. But we're not going to put what happened to her on her. We're going to hold the raggedy individual, her ex-boyfriend, accountable for him putting his hands on her. He had no right to do that. I don't care what anybody said. Like I said, everybody's made bad decisions. But who they've chosen to involve themselves with, which is why I always say you've got to be careful. This goes for both men and women. Who you get involved with, who you give your heart to, your time to, who you decide to enter into parenthood with. You got to be careful. Although at the same time, you can do all the vetting that you want to. There are just some things that's not going to come out until after you've let them into a certain space. There are some people who are professionals at putting up a facade. Then when they don't get what they want, or they get in good and they've manipulated you to a certain degree, that's when their abuse comes out. But it really upsets me and disturbs me, quite frankly. Like I said, we have an empathy problem going on in this world today. People really don't have any empathy or compassion for anybody other than themselves. And like I said, it really disturbs me and it really upsets me when people, both men and women, both black men and black women especially, take to the internet and make this about a what she's done issue. Yes, we do need to make videos. We need to make PowerPoints. We need to have speakers about how people can and will manipulate you and take advantage of you, no matter how much you love them or treat them right or do whatever the culture is saying you're supposed to be doing. They will take advantage of you, use you, throw you in the trash. You could be about to get up out of this world and they won't care. They just want to make sure what they want, they have secured. But to try to paint this situation or make this about anything other than the fact that this was a dude, a coward, a less than a man who preyed on this woman, who tried to use her, because that's what I honestly do believe that he tried to do. He preyed on her insecurities, then tried to use her with that baby, their child, which makes him the worst kind of scum of the world if you ask me. Like I said, you got me all the way messed up when you bring the children into it. But to make this about anything other than the fact that this is a coward who manipulated this woman and tried to use her, then put his hands on her when he couldn't get what he wanted, it's just wrong, point blank, period. Because that is exactly what this is about. A coward who got mad because he couldn't have what he wanted, who displayed insecurities to the entire world that everybody looked over and even congratulated him, some people, for having, and then those same insecurities he used to abuse this girl, and probably their child as well, allegedly. Now, I mentioned the insecurities that he showed the world, and what I meant by that was that post that he made. Yeah, we're going to bring it back to that post that he made. When everybody, the women who've been through abuse, the women who had common sense, and some of the men out there too that were trying to point this out that also had common sense, that knows how to identify men like him from a mile away, was trying to tell people when he made that post, something was clearly wrong with him in the head. There were so many people trying to make it seem like it was just KeKe having her booty cheeks out, that it was all her fault. We're going to go back to that, like I said again. Whenever that mess that happened between the two of them first hit the fan, I made a video talking about how, okay, so I can understand you're in a relationship with somebody. You might not want them to dress a certain kind of way. I extended that grace and mercy, okay? Because I myself wouldn't have been out with my booty cheeks out if I had a whole boyfriend that I was involved with, okay? But at the end of the day, KeKe Palmer is a grown woman. You cannot control what somebody else does, and you should not want to, quite frankly. You have the right to disagree with what they do, but to get on a social platform, a public platform, and try to shame your partner for doing something you didn't agree that they did, that's ridiculous. And it's toxic and it's disgusting. Like I said before, I don't know where this idea of trying to control people became cute or sexy or acceptable, but it is not. It is very indicative, in fact, that you have a problem that you need help resolving. Like I said, I was understanding that her dress that way didn't sit well with him, but at the same time, once again, she's a grown woman. That is not his daughter. That is his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now. And when he put that post out, once again, it let me know right off the bat, she did not need to be with him. The fact that he would get on social media and literally sick whoever was stupid enough and goofy enough and toxic enough and sick in the head enough to attack that woman for what she had on, in his defense, let me know right then and there, he was no good, he was toxic, he was disgusting. People wanted to say, oh, boo-hoo, what about him, what about him? And I said, don't nobody care about him or his feelings, because if he wanted this to be off the internet, if he didn't want to look like the butt of a joke, and for her to go on and make that whole video with Usher talking about I'm a mama after all, his goofy behind should have stayed off of the internet and took care of whatever he had to take care of in private. He should have consulted her in private. He should have talked to her in private, respectfully, nicely. Babe, I didn't like that outfit that you went out in. I get it, you're a grown woman, but I don't want you to go out like that. Can we not do that, next time, please? That would have been the mature thing to do, the right thing to do. I'm going to be honest with y'all, because that's what we do over here at Yoshi Entertainment. I was happy when they drug him for filth. I was happy he had to leave social media, even though I do say that I don't believe in people bullying people off the internet, because that's not nice. But when you do something like this, you go out of your way to hurt somebody in an unnecessary way when you could have handled it in a mature fashion in private, then your consequences are your consequences. So like I said, I felt no ways for him. I felt no ways. But anyways, like I said, a lot of people were pointing out at that point that something was wrong with this dude, and she really needed to break up with him. And I thought that she did. It was my understanding that she did. But then she got back with him and was like, oh, it was all like a, fake thing. It was just, us trying to get publicity. And I honestly think she only did that to soothe his ego because of what she was going through, allegedly. Him beating her at the time, behind closed doors. And it's so sad because if you look at this picture right here, the way she's smiling with him, Just imagine she was probably going through something that night or right before they took that picture or right after they took that picture. All this time she's taking these pictures, they're looking like a loving couple. Meanwhile, he's putting hands on her behind closed doors, which is again why I say don't ever put these relationships or these celebrities on a pedestal, because you never know the hell that they're dealing with when y'all are not around, when y'all are not seeing them, when they're not on camera. Now, whenever the documents made their way to social media, there were a lot of people that got really pissed off. And once again, they were dragging Darius for filth, which he deserves, because a lot of people did not like the fact that they were out here, that he was out here doing this to this young woman behind closed doors. I didn't already say it before. There are some people out here that, we've been talking about the men because this is a situation where a man was abusing a woman. They will go out and prey on women who have insecurities. Whenever I see KeKe Palmer, quite frankly, I get the vibes that, the culture kind of threw her in the trash. Let's just be honest. Can we be honest, please? I get the vibes that KeKe Palmer has had some insecurities, mainly because of the black community, the black culture. She was dark skinned, she was skinny when she started out. She got, I feel like, robbed of a lot of opportunities because of colorism in the industry. We're going to talk about it because it's the truth. And like I said, we promote the truth here at Yoshi Entertainment. She probably felt like, she would have never been able to get somebody, people have been saying this, that looked like Darius when she was coming up. The only way she would have been able to get somebody like that, what she was thinking, I'm talking about her thought process, was if she was famous and she had a lot of money. Whenever she was dating a white guy, because she was dating a white guy a while ago, the culture of the community threw her in the trash. Dr. freaking Umar came on, made it all his business to talk about her for being involved with this white man, when he should have had that same smoke for all these other black people out here in the community that's dating white people, that have made their racism towards other black people and their white superiority complex, their promotion of white supremacy, very, very blatant. Cough, Kanye, cough, allegedly. He didn't say nothing to them. He didn't have no smoke for them, but had smoke for KeKe, who was literally not bothering anybody. And then when she broke up with him, she got with this idiot talking about it's okay just to be with somebody, who just pays light bill. I'm talking about goofy behind Tyler Perry now. And she did that. She settled for less. She got with somebody. And I keep saying, I ain't make the rules now. But when you're a woman and you're rich and successful, you better marry somebody that has the same amount of money as you do or more, because you doing the opposite never works out. I'm not saying that men that make as much money or more won't be abusive as well. But usually when you do the opposite, like I said, this is the kind of way that it ends, which is why you shouldn't do it. And then people were trying to say, oh, well, Steve Harvey tried to tell her not to do this. And she did it anyways. And I felt like that was a slap in the face, because quite naturally, black women are conditioned to still settle for less. She only did what the culture and most black people would have had her do anyways, which is why I keep saying they threw her in the trash, because one moment, like I said, she's with one guy, they're dragging her for it. The next moment she does what, like I said, the culture, which is raggedy and for the trash and always will be, does. She still gets dragged for it after he treats her badly. That's why I keep saying to a lot of these women out here, please be careful, because you could be doing all of what you thought was right, all of what people tried to condition you to do, the black community, the black culture. You didn't chose who you thought was supposed to be better after they didn't drug you about choosing better, only for better to still not be better, and then drag you and mock you and talk about you and treat you like trash and raggedy when you get abused, but will have no smoke for the actual abuser. Like I said, the culture is for the trash. This world is but backwards. Everything is done wrong and in a toxic way, which is why I always promote therapy and God. Quite frankly, God is the only one who's going to be able to help you navigate these situations. You can't always see what's going to happen before it does. I promote trying to do what you can to do so, but you're only human at the end of the day. Like I hate it, like I said, so many people have gotten on this internet and talked about this situation like it was all her fault. Like I said, did she make some bad decisions? Just like everybody else who's human on this earth, sure she did. Although we're going to place the blame on the coward, like I said, who put his hands on her. Anyways, now that that's all off my chest, we're going to talk about some actual things. And this is the part where I'm going to issue a trigger warning for anybody who's been through this kind of stuff. Because like I said, it is very disturbing. I'm not going to include any of the pictures because I don't usually do those things because it does disturb some people. But like I said, I guess this one was the straw that broke the camel's back. Once again, she was trying to play the traditional role that black women are conditioned, brought up to play to protect her abuser. She didn't want to say anything about what was going on behind closed doors. I even think sometimes, allegedly, she was, telling people to kind of like leave it alone at one point in time because people were dragging him like really bad. And I think she was doing that to protect herself and her child because she didn't want him to lash out at her behind closed doors, because of everybody dragging him, which is sad. And when you think about it, that she had to put up with that. She had to ease his ego and his hurt little feelings so that she could secure her safety and the safety of her son. Unfortunately, there are a lot of women that still go through this right now, that are going through this right now. But anyways, she had, put out there talking about how allegedly, like I said, I have to say here on YouTube, how he would do stuff like strike her around the neck, grab her. In the video footage that she took screenshots of, he had literally broken into her house, allegedly, according to her, and people can say, oh, why did she give him a key? As if half of these people don't already have people living in their houses with them that they're not married to, who they gave them keys to their houses. And the kind of men like him, you could give him a key and be like, okay, give me my key back. And then he'll take the key and be like, oh, okay, here you go. And being already made copies of the key. So let's not act like this man is not unhinged, because quite clearly he is. He's showing y'all that he is. He's already shown y'all that he is. Like I said, he made his way into the house, literally started a fight with this woman and threw her over her own couch. They had to like blur out parts of the video and the screenshots because I guess she was like wearing a shirt or whatever in the comfort of her own home, and he threw her over the couch allegedly, and like she had kind of accidentally got exposed a little bit. He was like allegedly beating her, like I said, putting his hands on her, allegedly putting his hands around her throat, whatnot. She even talked about one time that he was getting very aggressive, and angry while changing their child. Like, I'm like, really? While changing the child, really? And that she was afraid that he was going to hurt their son. So she was trying to get the child away from him. And she was able to successfully without him hurting the child. But then that he struck her in the head. And I'm just like I said, that's a whole nother level of cowardice. Not only are you beating this woman who is the mother of your child, but also while she's holding your child. That's a whole nother level of you just need to be thrown in the jail cell and have the key thrown in the trash. Burn the key, melt it down, and form it into something else so they can't get it back to let you out. She also told how they had went somewhere and he had gotten mad because somebody complimented her, or he thought she was flirting with some other person, got mad, and she was once again trying to soothe his fragile ego. Like, it's never good to be involved with somebody, especially a man who is bigger than you and stronger than you, who has a fragile ego and very prideful, because they will turn that against you in a heartbeat. And she was not able to soothe his ego because he didn't want it soothed. He wanted violence. He wanted vengeance. He took her stuff. I think it was like a suitcase of stuff that she had, threw it into the street, got it all dirty, took her glasses, stumped them so she wouldn't be able to see to drive herself home, then took her keys and threw them into the bushes. So she had to go and find her stuff, gather her stuff, not being able to see because he had destroyed her prescription glasses, all allegedly. After he then took his frustration out on her, now he happy, he get in his car and go home. Now she got to try and pick up the literal pieces and get back together and get in her car and drive herself back to safety. What if something would have happened to her because she couldn't see? All of this was going on. And once again, I'm not here for the, oh, why didn't she say something comments. Once again, when you're dealing with a situation like this, you can't always speak out because your safety and the safety of your child is in jeopardy. Like I said, I'm not here for it. And it shows a real lack, once again, of empathy and compassion that our society, our community has for people, especially Black women going through these situations. And I'm also not here for the comments of Black femicide not being a thing. This quite obviously shows you that it is most certainly a thing. And you want to really get shocked? How about you do research and see who are the ones, unfortunately, that are unaliving Black women at an alarming rate, more so than anybody else. Allegedly. But anyways. So basically, just a lot of instances where he used a lot of physical, also emotional, and probably mental abuse. Let's just be honest. Allegedly. When it came to her, I've already said before, people like him, men like him, that's the kind of games they run. They pick a woman who is rich, who has a lot going for her. They prey on her. They try to get her pregnant, and this is, again, I'm not putting up with any, oh, you women be trapping men, because there are men who do the same thing. I've already said this before. It's not just a woman thing. It's an everybody thing. People do these things. They find people who have insecurities, who they can prey on, who they can manipulate. And it's really messed up because a lot of times it's women that's being manipulated emotionally. Like they use their emotions against them and they manipulate them. They mess with their heads. They get them pregnant. So then there's that. And once again, I'm not putting up with any, well, why did she get pregnant for him? Because you could ask that same question to him. Why did you get her pregnant if you didn't actually care about her enough to treat her right? And how do we know, allegedly, that that was intentional? Yeah, I went there. Allegedly. Allegedly, apparently, while we're talking about the child, there were instances where he even talked to their child about KeKe Palmer in very disparaging and disrespectful ways, calling her stuff like a whore and all this kind of stuff. And once again, we're not putting up with, oh, well, the child is only 8 months. How would he know? That's still a very disrespectful, once again, disparaging thing to do to the mother of your child who's essentially taking care of you, let's be honest. And the child, like whether or not he's old enough to understand, you don't do stuff like that because that can still get up in that child's psyche. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, that's another level of low. Like how low can a scumbag go? But anyways, speaking of the scumbag himself, there was even, allegedly, according to her, she had said that he threatened to unalive himself with her own weapon if she left him. Now, I'm not going to say what I would have told him on this YouTube channel. Maybe I'll save that for the podcast. Actually, I think I will save that for the podcast, what I would have said in that moment. But it might shock y'all, not in a good way, what I would have said to him in that moment. I'm going to just leave it there on this YouTube channel because I'm not trying to get a YouTube strike or anything like that. But anyways, let me move across from that real fast. So apparently, allegedly, this boy's brother, this coward's brother, which is the one to the right, decided to come onto social media and he posted this post. And a lot of people were trying to say, first of all, who are you talking to? Who is you talking to about that? Or who is you referring to? Because we all thought that he was, trying to call out his brother for his, cowardice, for his, violent, aggressive activities towards women. But it looked like almost allegedly he was trying to aim that at KeKe Palmer to make it look like KeKe Palmer was the villain, I guess, in this situation. And a lot of people went in on him. It was so bad and messed up when you really think about it, to the fact that KeKe Palmer's mother had to come on. Like, she even took it upon herself. She was saying, listen, I don't usually even do stuff like this. I don't even get on social media. There were people saying all the 22 years that KeKe Palmer has been famous, allegedly, could be more than that. But all those years, her mother has never made a video. She's never come to the forefront. She's stayed in the background. But she threw all that in the trash to go to bat for her daughter. And she even got on the internet and said, you know what, Sharonda Jackson, I don't know what that was supposed to be, but you're raggedy, you're trash for it, because I came to you, allegedly, according to Miss KeKe Palmer's mama. She said, I came to you whenever your brother first started putting hands on my daughter, and I told you about it, because literally that is what you're supposed to do. Whenever there's a man being abusive to a woman in the family, you're supposed to be able to go to another man in the family and confront them, especially if that's that man's family, and say, your so-and-so, your brother, your uncle, your nephew, whoever it is putting hands on, is hurting my daughter, my sister, my niece, whoever. They should be able to level with that man and get help from him. That's what it's supposed to be, because we're supposed to be a community. But I'm going to keep reminding y'all that the black community is for the trash, because they never do it the way it's supposed to be done. She went to him because sometimes as a woman, you can't go to a man. They won't listen to you because they feel like you are beneath them. They don't have to listen to you as a woman. So she did the best next thing that she could, which was go to the next man involved and say, your brother has been hurting my daughter. And he said, according to Miss Palmer, oh, well, I mean, that's what I did back in the day. And she did not take that excuse lying down. She literally said that, quite frankly, literally. She said, no, that's not an excuse, because your brother's hurting my daughter. And basically what you told me is you showed him how to do it, and you've been doing it. And she called him an F-boy. And that's the truth, because both of them are that. They've displayed that behavior, along with being cowards, quite clearly being cowards running their family. And like I said, it's sad that like her mother couldn't even get through to him. Her own mother tried to come to him in earnest and say, like, what are you doing about this? Like, please say something to your brother. Like, what are we supposed to do? And he basically did nothing, like I said, and had the audacity to try and like fire back by saying, oh, I guess trying to imply allegedly that she had threatened him, which once again, I don't know anybody's mama who wouldn't respond that way. Okay. You didn't do anything when she came to you, allegedly. So why you want to whine now about a woman threatening you? Once again, coward, raggedy, trash. Wanted to say, oh, well, I can leak, some voicemails or whatever he thought he had of her threatening him over her daughter and the abuse that she was suffering at the hands of his raggedy trash brother. And now all of his business is up in the media about him and his baby mama and the stuff that he's been doing. So once again, we've connected the dots and we have come to the conclusion that they are a family of cowards who likes to take advantage of black women, specifically dark-skinned black women. They're raggedy, they're trash. Not enough people are calling them out for it. Now, one last thing before I wrap this video up. So something else that was very disturbing that happened after, I guess, she had called the police and she had allegedly filed the report and tried to get temporary custody of the child because he does not need to be within any amount of distance of her family, or that child. Low-key, she's probably going to have to move out of wherever she is, California, which, to what I've been researching and hearing, in the midst of all this, has some pretty raggedy laws concerning this kind of stuff. But basically, this coward is going to get onto the internet after he had left the internet when he first got drug fulfilled after the post that he made. And I guess he, formed his Twitter again, his ex, whatever, and then came back onto, Twitter and decided to post a photo of him and his son. I didn't really show his son because I don't really believe in posting people's children like that. Sometimes I will, but most of the time I don't. And he had the audacity to caption the post, "Love you, son. See you soon." So, like I said, by now, if y'all don't know or understand that this man is unhinged, quite clearly, he is crazy in the head. I really don't know what else to say or show anybody to convince them of that. Now, allegedly, apparently, she was granted the restraining order, and this dude is supposed to stay away from her and the baby. So, in my head, I'm like, see who soon win? See who? Because according to the judge, you ain't supposed to be seeing her or that baby. So what does that tell me? Once again, that he's crazy in the head and he still thinks he can do whatever he wants to do and get away with it. Low key, if we're going to be also very honest, the culture and the community created men like Darius who feel like they can do whatever they want to. They can take advantage of women. They can hurt children. That they will be abusers and that they will not be checked because people don't check abusers. They further abuse the individuals who have been abused. That is our culture, which is why I keep saying it's for the trash. One of the best things that she could have done in this situation and the smartest things was have that home security footage set up, because that right there was the evidence to put the nail in the coffin, hopefully to get this dude arrested. Like I said, and have the key thrown away, because you don't just bounce back from doing that to the mother of your child. Like, unfortunately, one of the things that was said in there was that she was trying her best to give him a second chance and make things work out. Unfortunately, ladies, when a man is hitting you, there is no second chance, okay? You can forgive him and love him from a very far distance. Hopefully that distance will be him in jail, him in prison, because that's where he needs to be if he has the audacity to cross that boundary and put his hands on you. There's no going back after a man beating you that way, especially if you're pregnant with his child, you have only been together for so long. He literally waited, like I said, allegedly 6 to 7 months to start putting his hands on her. Ridiculous. And it shouldn't have been at all. But still, once again, I'm going to reiterate this for somebody. I'm trying my best to help somebody out right now. If he puts a hole in a wall, if he slaps you, if he punches you in the face, if he hits you once, it will happen again. There's no amount of you doing the right thing, saying the right thing, trying to appease his ego, his feelings, his pride, you loving him to the moon and back, thinking that's going to do something to make him not want to hit you. None of that's going to work, okay? A man is not going to treat you right unless he wants to treat you right and has the fear of God that will make him treat you right. If he ain't got none of that, you need to get as far away from him as you can possible. Like I said, if he did it once, if he threatened you once, if he hurt your child, you need to get away from him. As a matter of fact, do it for your child, because if nothing else, do it for your child, because you don't want your child to grow up in that kind of environment thinking that that kind of stuff is normal, because it's not normal and it's not right. Even if you don't have children, do it for you. Do it for you and the people that might care about you. And if you don't think anybody cares about you, God cares about you, and he doesn't want you or your child, if you have children, in that situation. Do not be staying in a relationship trying to make it work while he is taking you out of this world, basically. Like I said, no amount of whatever you're doing is going to keep him from putting his hands on you if that's what he wants to do, if that's what he grew up seeing his father do, if that's what he's just determined to do. Do not try to save a man that does not want to be saved. That is not your job. Do not do it. Do not try to do it. Save yourself. Prioritize your safety, your sanity, and your child's safety and sanity. Like I said, if you have a child, over what you're trying to do for him. Because like I said, it's not going to work. Save yourself. Save your child. Because, like I said again, trying to save somebody else, trying to make things work, it never happens. You can't reform a man that is abusing women and that will use any excuse to do so, especially run to social media to back them up. And they know exactly what to say. Like I said, that post told me everything I needed to know about him. That he's a manipulator, that he's an abuser, that, like I said, he will punish people for not doing or behaving or acting like how he wants them to, or for trying to, get back at him. Because for all we know, she could have done all that in retaliation for him putting his hands on her, for all we know, like I said. But he knows how to abuse, he knows how to manipulate. And once again, anybody who went to his defense after he posted that post should feel like crap right now, because you literally backed up a woman beater, an abuser, a manipulator, somebody who violently, aggressively abused, allegedly, the mother of his child, all because of what? Because he has insecurities, because he has problems. But unfortunately, like I said, we live in a world that has no empathy. We live in a world of men and women who don't take accountability for the things that they do, who don't believe in going back and saying, you know what, I said this, I put this information out there, I said these very heinous things about this young woman, didn't know what she was going through, I was less than a person for that, I apologize, I'm sorry. No, we don't live in a world like that. We live in a world, like I said, that's riddled with toxicity and toxic people who promote toxic mindsets. I just want to kick the soapbox one more time before I step off of it on the way out the door of this video. Once again, that post where he was talking about, because I just can't get over this now, y'all. That post where he was talking about he believes in morals and all this other kind of bull crap. But where were the morals when he got her pregnant before marrying her? Where were the morals when he had been allegedly beating her for dang near years, really now? Because like I said, allegedly they were together for like 2 years, and he only waited like 6 to 7 months before he started beating her, allegedly. Where were the morals when you tried to publicly embarrass the mother of your child because you were mad about something you should have been mature about and talked to her about in private, but you decided not to because you had to get her back, you had to soothe your little fragile ego? Where were the morals then? And once again, for all the people who supported him in that whack raggedy post that was stupid, like I said, they should feel raggedy right about now. But I know they probably don't. They're probably hiding somewhere on the internet, because that's what people do. That's what the culture is, which is why it belongs in the waste bucket. Y'all let me know what y'all think of all this down in the comments below, respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all have a very blessed, safe day.